All right, stellar sixth grade students. This is a video on research note taking. So the first thing I want to show you is when you are researching, it will be very helpful to label your sources. So you've got A, B, I have labeled my sources A, B, C, and D here. I've also used some color coding because later this will be useful for tracking information. Because if I pull a fact or a detail out of Article A from the Yucatan Times, I want to be able to cite that source. If I say 20 million Mexican children and adolescents live in poverty, I know that came from Article A. If that information is written in red, I make sure I will not lose it and can keep track of all of these details. So there are various strategies you can use to take notes when you have your information printed, ready to go. These two articles I have here, the second two, are focused more on solutions. Okay, here's a solution that's a social program to help break the cycle of poverty. And this is another article on the same program called Progress That. So I'm going to put these articles aside because first we are going to be focused on taking notes about the problem. So I've chosen a topic about poverty, specifically children, I'd like to write about. So one way, a very basic way of taking notes, I'm requiring you guys to develop your own ways to take notes, but here's one way. This is going to be a boxes and bullets format. Very simple. You make a box, you include some bullets for details underneath it. Basically, this is a main idea and supporting details. This main idea is really simple. I'm going to state a very simple idea here, but support it with specifics down below. And this is perfect because now I'm going to be just outlining and describing the problem of poverty in Mexico. So this note page is going to be focused only on the problem. And I've got two articles, A and B. These two articles both discuss the problem in terms of numbers and facts and statistics. So I'm just using these two right now, and I'm going to pull information from both A and B to include here. So one thing you'll notice is that I've already done some reading and I've already highlighted some facts that I think are important. These are numbers, okay? I can talk about the problems of poverty, but it helps to have numbers to support my findings, to really discuss what a big problem this is. So first thing I will do is write down that in the problem, many children in Mexico are affected by poverty because that is the main problem I will be addressing in my essay. I'm going to specifically be talking about children. I'm going to be talking about poverty because my solution addresses children in poverty. Okay? So Article A, I'm going to pick up my red pen. If I pull any fact out of this article here, I'm going to want to write it in red just to keep extra close track of my facts. Let's see. 20 million Mexican children live in poverty. That first right here, and adolescents. That fact I'm going to put right here into my first bullet. 20 million. And I can copy this directly because later on I might quote or paraphrase. And right now I just want to copy down facts I think that are going to be useful for my essay. So I've got 20 million Mexican children and adolescents live in poverty. And this fact obviously is written in red to remind me that I got it from Article A, but I should also write down the page number. So in parentheses down below, I'm going to be writing two things. I'm going to be writing the letter A to remind me it's from source A, and the page number 1 because I want to remember I got this from the first page of source A. This will be very useful for me later on when I go to put this fact into my essay. I know exactly what source it came from. Okay. Now, if I'm continuing my research and I want to make sure I'm focused on this particular problem of children suffering from poverty in Mexico, and I find, let's say, in my next article, Article B, I find another important fact. For example, here it says that 25 million Mexicans make less than $14 a day. That's shocking. That's very low, and that's US dollars. There's another fact right here, and that is about 10% of Mexican people live in extreme poverty, which is less than $1.25 per day, which we know is bad for many reasons, malnutrition, and creates all kinds of problems, which this article discusses. Right now I'm sticking with numbers, and I want to make sure to capture the most useful numbers into my notes. So I'm going to use a blue pen this time, since this comes from Article B. And just to repeat that, it was 10% live in extreme poverty. And in parentheses, that was less than $1.25 per day. And I note in my mind that that is bad for children for so many reasons. And those are definitely children that are affected in there as well. Okay, this statistic is not specific to kids, but I just know that that must affect families and children, and that health-wise, that isn't safe either. This fact was from Article B. I'm going to put in parentheses. That particular fact was from page 2. So I've got, again, my source and my page number for later. Okay. When I go back to Article A and I'm looking through, maybe I have another article as well. I can have different sources all in the same note page. Okay. Let me just add one more here that I think will be useful. 8.8 million children, this is very sad, suffer from social deprivation, which means they are actually living in a place where they're not getting enough social activity. They might be living alone. And that actually relates to another fact, which says that they live in the south of Mexico. There's a lot of families in the south. It's actually the rural south. Okay, that's away from cities, away from towns, alone in small villages perhaps, and that's why they suffer from social deprivation. So there's all kinds of negative effects besides food and not having what children need that's going to be, that affect them negatively. Now this fact I got from Article A. I got this from page 2. I combined a few things, a few pieces of information about social deprivation and that they live in the south of Mexico, but I got that all from page 2. I'm keeping really close track. If I continue on with any other fact, I can color code, I can jot down my source and page number. Okay, I've got a lot of useful information here. I think that the rest I can add to and fill in when I write my paragraph about the problem. I'll fill in my own opinions here about these facts. For now, I feel like I definitely have enough information in terms of facts, statistics, and numbers about my problem. So I might be ready to put this information into my outline, and then from there I'll even be able to write my paragraph about the problem of children suffering from poverty in Mexico. I hope this was a useful video, and you can rewatch it if you are confused and for clarification. Thanks.